142, a number and record that to well-trained eyes acquainted with the Overwatch League might look a bit familiar. While it isn't quite as impressively awful as the 42-match loss streak that the Shanghai Dragons had starting from Season 1 all the way to their third match of Season 2, one Overwatch League team at least tied the record of 1 win to 42 losses in their most recent matches. And with the very future of the Overwatch League in doubt, they may well have secured themselves the ignominy of creating the worst legacy the league has ever seen. What the hell happened to the Vegas Eternal? With their last season match, the Vegas Eternal managed to match the same unwanted record as Shanghai Dragons, just with a slightly different order of operation. Through multiple roster rebuilds and seasons, the chronically underfunded team has finished Overwatch League Season 6 with a match record of 0-16, plus an additional 4 losses during the pre-season Pro-Am event. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back to the beginning. At the start of Season 4, the Vegas Eternal, at the time still located in Paris, decided on a new roster building strategy, significantly cutting down on their investment into their roster and counting on mostly European talent.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Under those new economic restraints, the team performed admirably and was able to punch above its weight, finishing 8 for 8 in the regular season and beating the likes of Washington Justice, LA Gladiators and Dallas Fuel. It was an impressive performance and plaudits were rightly thrown their way as they consistently kept up with the big hitters of the league. For Season 5, the team augmented their roster but failed to build the same momentum. Despite a soft rebuild in the later stages of the season, the team failed to create another low-budget miracle and walked away with only one close 3-2 victory against the second lowest ranked team, the New York Excelsior. This one win on June 19th, 2022 would be the last taste of victory the Eternal would have. After that win, the Eternal have suffered defeat in every single one of their official matches in Season 6 of the Overwatch League under even heavier roster construction issues. In August of 2022, our team at GGRecon derived an Overwatch League budget tier list, questioning insiders with knowledge on these things to try and estimate the working budget of each of the North American Overwatch League franchises. At the time, the Paris Eternal was ranked dead last at the bottom of the list, paying salaries only slightly above the league minimum, having only signed the minimum required number of 6 players, all while not providing a team house or paying any buyouts. And the situation only got worse for Season 6. With only 5 active players signed to the now Vegas Eternal after their franchise relocation. For the 6th mandatory player slot, General Manager of the Eternal, Avala, was signed to fill the gap. The team promptly lost all of their pre-season Pro-Am matches and ended up being the only Overwatch League franchise with an 0-4 scoreline, and any hopes from Eternal fans that this would just be a blip were quickly torn down. Due to technical difficulties for the team's DPS player Malthol, Avala was moved into the active squad versus the London Spitfire. Down a professional player, the Eternal lost the series in a clean 3-0 sweep. In a last-ditch effort to make the season stand for something, the team decided on another mid-season rebuild around a Korean core once again, playing on ping from their home country, signing Knife, Toyo, Irony, and later on Finale, but there was to be no grand last stand. No season-saving triumph. Though the team obviously tried their best to get a victory on the board, they ultimately failed. In the end, of 53 maps played across the whole season, the Eternal only won 5 of them. With a 1-17 score in Season 5, an 0-4 Pro-Am record, and an 0-16 record in Overwatch League Season 6, the Eternal have therefore tied the Shanghai Dragons' notorious 1-42 scoreline, adding in their other defeats along the way. For their part, the Eternal were magnanimous in defeat. Time to pick ourselves up, regroup, and come back fighting, the team wrote in a tweet following that 0-3 loss to San Francisco Shock. But it's not clear whether they'll even get a chance to come back fighting at all. Plans for the 2024 Overwatch League season are far from concrete, and after such a terrible run, Vegas Eternal as an org might well take a look at the $6 million payout from Activision and simply take the money and leave the Overwatch League behind rather than agree to the new operating agreement. And really, who could blame them? There are of course a lot of reasons why teams can underperform. While player ability and effort is the most obvious factor when watching games, there have been plenty of accusations and reports thrown around about alleged negative environments at the Vegas Eternal, with particular ire thrown at General Manager Avala, especially by former player Malthol after he left the Eternal. And Avala deactivated her social media after the team's final loss against the Shock last week. It has been, both in the game and out of it, a terrible season for the Eternal. So will they even stick around to compete if the Overwatch League manages to soldier on? Teams like Toronto Defiant have expressed their desire, even determination, to continue competing at the highest level of Overwatch, whatever that may look like going into 2024 and beyond. There's no doubt the hunger for competitive Overwatch esports is there, but one match away from delivering the most unwanted legacy in the Overwatch League's history. With all of the context of Season 6 to look back on, would it really be surprising if Vegas Eternal simply decided enough was enough